Hello, everyone. Yes, good afternoon and welcome to Coaching Think Talk. I am Coach Maan from Life Coach Philippines, and this is Coaching for a Healthy Mind Space. So, this coaching conversation is for individuals who are experiencing uncertainty and overwhelm in their lives because of unhealthy mindsets. And it is my deep desire to help them break free from these thinking patterns through the renewing of their minds so that they can have full and abundant lives as they journey their calling and purposes for their lives. So, thank you once again for joining me live today. And please leave your digital footprint by letting us know where you are coming from today. Do tag a friend or any family member who you think will benefit from our conversation this afternoon. Feel free to circulate this video so that more will be blessed and more will be enlightened with what we will share this afternoon. You may also give shout outs to people you want to greet and also reach out with some inspiring messages in our comment section. So feel free to do that. And if you are watching this on a replay, please key in hashtag replay. I am streaming via Facebook page of Life Coach Philippines, and this is also showing in YouTube through the Coach AI Connect channel. And if you are new to our platform, please like, follow, and subscribe. So we are actually on the second season of our Coaching Think Talk with new coaches on board for more learning and fruitful conversations. We have daily coaching conversations in our Facebook page, and I hope you can check them out. So please allow me to introduce myself. For some of you, this is probably the first time that you've seen me. I am Coach Maan Lamorena, and I am a certified life coach. I am also a certified mental toughness coach. And when I'm not doing that, I am a happy wife and a mother to a 3-year-old girl. But before I switched to life coaching, I was actually an HR practitioner for 10 years. But after I moved here to Mindanao, I turned freelance as an online digital specialist. And that allowed me, being freelance, allowed me to do another passion of mine, and that is to coach football and futsal to some of the high school students here in General Santos, where I am at the moment. But because of the pandemic and all contact sports are halted right now, then that's been set aside. So now I've transitioned to life and performance coaching, and that's why I'm here. And that is a short version of my journey into the life coaching profession. So I am also the owner and creator of the Facebook group, Facebook community, You Renewed. That's my group. Where I share thoughts and ideas on how we can win the battle in our minds. I do hope that you can join my group. If this is something that you are passionate about, I hope to see you in the group one of these days. And if you want to connect with me, you may reach me at my Facebook page. That's Coach Maan. I hope you can like and follow it as well. So, as I go about the topic today, I do encourage you to share whatever thoughts and realizations you may have as you listen. Please share it in your timeline. It's what we call sharing your pack my bag moment. It's any learning or insight that you get from the talk that as soon as you hear it, you're ready to go. You're raring to go out. In Tagalog, we call it pack up na, pack your bag na. So, it's anything that would benefit you, that you would really like to take with you as I finish this talk. And as you post it, please share it with these hashtags: hashtag pack my bag moment, hashtag coaching TikTok, and hashtag healthy mind space. When you post it, there's really nothing magical about it, but it's double retention in your mind as you write it again. So that's really for you. And once again, this is coaching for a healthy mind space. And I believe that, healthy mind space is something that is worth to be talked about, especially nowadays, that the drive for mental fitness, or as others would call it, mental wellness and self-care, is on a high because of the negative effects of the pandemic. But I believe that pandemic or not, having a healthy mind space is really essential. It's as essential as having a healthy and clean physical space. And, any physical space that is cluttered will and chaotic and messy will bring a challenge to anyone who's trying to find something. If you've ever tried to find a small thing or key in a cluttered room, you know what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing with our minds. When it's filled with negative thinking and other mental clutter, it can cause us to be challenged in thinking, thinking thoughts better, in also processing whatever thoughts and emotions we have, and eventually it will cause us to not make better decisions. So it is important and it is very essential because ultimately our thoughts drive our emotions that lead to our action. So to start our first episode of the second season of Coaching Think Talk, I want to throw this question to you. Do you believe the saying that you are what you think? What that you are what you think of yourself. That what you think of a situation is true, is real. So let me know in the comments. But hold on to your answers. We'll dive to that as we go through the conversation. So actually, many things and many books have been written about this quote. In fact, English philosopher James Allen even wrote this. He said, "As a man thinks, so he is. As he continues to think, so he remains." Very philosophical, no? Stoic philosopher and Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius also wrote, "A man's life is what his thoughts make of it." Deep. But just think about it. When we are unhappy where we are in life, we always seek to create change. And we crave to take action, just any action that will change the circumstances we are in. So what we do is we go about transforming our environment. When we are feeling stressed with work, what do? Pre-pandemic, we travel. We take a leave and travel, right? Change of scenery will help us. Or when we are feeling a bit low about ourselves and our morale, we go online shopping, right? Hello, Lazada and Shopee. We seek things and situations that could help numb the pain or whatever emotion we are feeling and help us forget. But after it all, we fall back to where we had started. We realize that we are still unhappy, and so the cycle repeats itself. We shop, we travel, we forget. Always focusing on the external factors we need to alter in order to create better circumstances. And this happens because we falsely assume that the change we want can be found outside ourselves. And while the environment does play a role in changing our circumstances, it doesn't address the root cause. That is the driver behind the way we feel the way we do. And that root cause is our thinking. So here's what we need to realize. If you want to change the outside, then you must first change the inside. We must first change the attention of our thoughts because what we think directly influences how we feel. And how we feel directly influences how our body reacts. And how our body reacts directly influences how we behave. And how we behave, of course, it comes to define who we are and what we experience in life. This is a quote from William James that says, "The greatest revolution of our generation is the discovery that human beings, by changing the inner attitudes of their minds, can change the other aspects of their lives." So it all begins with our thoughts. Because our life experiences springs from the thoughts we actively engage in. And with this, there are three things we need to understand. Let me just explain further. This is the first thought. There is a link between thoughts, emotions, and behavior. You see, thoughts in and of themselves, they have no power. It's neutral. And it's only when we actively invest our attention into them that they begin to seem real. And when we engage with specific thoughts, we begin to feel the emotions that were triggered by these thoughts. So now we enter a new emotional state, which then influences how we act. So you see the connection. So for example, if you regularly engage with the thought that you are a failure and you feed more attention to this thought that you are a failure, eventually you'll start to feel down, discouraged, fearful, and perhaps at times even depressed. And how does your body react to this? You sunk down, you slump your shoulders, and you project no confidence at all. If you engage yourself with more empowering thoughts, they would boost your confidence and thus trigger a more positive emotional state, which will then be reflected in how your body reacts, standing up straight, upbeat, and energized. So this is the connection. That's the link between our thoughts, emotions, behavior, and our reaction. Right? So thoughts trigger emotions. And these emotions then feed back into the original thought that we had. And as we continue to give mental attention to the initial thought, it reaffirms the emotion, which then energizes the thought again. So it goes back. And so we experience a continuous cycle of think, feel, think, feel, think, feel. This results in the emotional state you come to experience, whether that's a feeling of stress, a feeling of discouragement, confidence, energy, happiness, or whatever emotion that is. That's what you get. That's the result that you will get. So really, it's how you think and how you feel that directly impacts how your body reacts. And all three influence how you behave and what actions you take. This is how your thoughts create your reality. It's in the way you behave and act that you define who you are and what you experience in life. And the way you behave and act is simply a construction of how you think, feel, and do. So what does this mean? This means that the problems we usually experience are usually a thought problem. The real problem is not the problem, the circumstance, or the situation that we are in, but it's what we think of the current situation and circumstance that becomes the problem. So look at it this way. When you fail to get that promotion, that is really not the problem. The problem is that you thought failing means you are a failure. Or for example, when you get rejected in a relationship, that rejection is not the problem. But the problem is that you thought that rejection means you are unlovable. And so our problems are really nothing more than our emotional and body reactions to our thoughts about the situation at hand. So if we can observe and change our attention or perception, we can change our emotional reaction, which then changes our body reaction and ultimately changes how we act and experience our reality. And that's exactly why true change begins from the inside, not the outside. When things change inside you, things change around you. And as you change the way you think, you change the way you believe and experience things. Which brings me to my second point, that your thought patterns reinforce your beliefs. A thought pattern is a habit of thinking in a particular way. So if you think you're a failure, you'll feel like a failure, and then you'll act like a failure. As long as you give attention to the thought that you are a failure, you continue to experience this reality, which then reinforces your belief that you must be a failure. And this is called a thought pattern. And this thought pattern has the power to make or break your life. There's a book written by psychologist John Arden. It's Rewire Your Brain. It says that the more you do something, the more likely it is that you will do it again in the future. Repetition rewires the brain and breeds habits. The more the neurons fire together, the more likely it is that they will fire together in the future. So let me explain this further, and please bear with me. It could get a bit scientific. I also had to bear with myself when I was researching this. So every thought we experience creates a chemical reaction in the brain, which then triggers an emotion. And as we engage with this thought, it creates new circuit that sends a signal to the body and we react a certain way. The more we repeat this pattern, the more it seeps into our mind and becomes a habit. And this is why neuroscientists say the cells that fire together wire together. So as you keep thinking the same thoughts, producing the same emotions, and performing the same actions, you continue to live by the same experiences. As we repeatedly engage in the same thought patterns of think, feel, and do, these patterns encode as a blueprint in our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is the driver in some actions that we have that are usually on autopilot. That's why it's so hard for us to make change happen in our lives. It's because we've repeated the thought pattern so many times that they now become rooted in who we are. Our thought patterns reinforced our beliefs, and our beliefs came to define who we are and the reality we experience. Another psychologist, Amy Morin, she actually wrote the book 13 Things Mentally Strong People Do, said that once you draw a conclusion about yourself, you're likely to do two things. The first is that you will look for evidence that reinforces your belief, and the second is that you will discount anything that runs contrary to your belief. So if you develop the belief that you are a failure, you will view every mistake you make as a proof to affirm that you are indeed a failure. And when you do succeed, at something, you will not credit it with hard work or perseverance. Instead, you will credit it to chance or sometimes even luck. This is how your thoughts create your reality. So now that the thought patterns we have affect our reality, what can we do about it? It brings me to my third point, that we need to create new patterns to create a new reality. Create new patterns to create a new reality. If there's something that you want to change in your life, if you want to create new and make new habits, then this is actually good news. You create new patterns so you can create a new reality. And by the way, just a disclaimer, when I say a new reality, it's not like an alternate universe that we see in books or movies. When I say create a new reality, it's actually having a new perception to the same situation you are in. It's a new belief, a new understanding of the same issue and concern. The new patterns help you see it in a different light. The same thing that you've probably seen 1,000 times before. With a new thought pattern, you experience it in a different way. And an example again would be failure, right? So your usual thought about failure is that it's dead end and that it is fixed and there's nothing that can be done about it. So you behave with no confidence and you act with your shoulders slumped and head down. Again, no confidence at all. But in this case, you've created a new thought pattern. So now you see failure as a learning moment, an opportunity for you to develop and strengthen yourself. So this is the thought that you have, and so your actions would follow. And instead of slumping down, this time you're looking forward, you're standing tall, and your actions would be to look for other, learning opportunities or activities that would help you develop yourself. So you see, actions follow the thought. Another example is in light of rejection. Whereas before, you see it as something that should be avoided at all costs, something to be feared, because you think it will define who you are. And after you've created a new thought pattern about it, you now actually embrace rejection. When it happens, you see it not as a defining moment, but it actually is, you see it as a divine redirection, a chance to learn and try again. Create new thought pattern to create a new reality. Another example of creating new thought patterns can be found in the book of Romans in the Bible, as the Apostle Paul exhorted the Romans. In chapter 12, verse 2, he says, "Do not conform to the pattern of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. He was telling the Romans that if they want to live the will of God and know what is good, acceptable, and perfect in their lives, then they have to create new thought patterns that are not of this world, but from the word of the Lord. Because the truth is, if your mind changes, then you will change. It's what neuroscientists refer to as neuroplasticity. The idea that you can rewire your brain by creating new behavioral patterns where new cells fire together and wire together. And in order for you to do this, you need to understand that you are not your thoughts. You are the thoughts you give power and attention to. We get approximately 60,000 thoughts in our mind every day. Your thoughts are nothing more than an endless stream of ideas running through your mind. These are just endless ideas. And they are powerless until you decide to cling onto one of them. You are not the thoughts that go inside your mind, but what you put attention to, you can become. Say you allow the thoughts that go inside your mind, any thought. For example, you have allowed the thought of failure to enter your mind. It's a reality that could happen. It's a neutral thought. But you clung to it as it went to your mind. That when it becomes a potential concern. And when you continue to appropriate that thought to your actions, then that's when it becomes a problem because it seeps into your actions. The thought that was neutral eventually allowed you to do things that are causing you to become a failure in life. So how do you address behavioral patterns so you do not become what you think? You create new thought patterns. And how do you create new thought patterns? Well, here's how. First, you recognize the thought pattern by becoming more conscious of the thoughts that you give your attention to. It's what psychologists call metacognition, thinking about your thinking. Because usually we don't think about what we think, right? We don't think about our thinking. So this one is being intentional in thinking what you are thinking, in thinking of the thoughts that we allow into our minds. So that's when you recognize the thought patterns. Once we've done that, then we understand where they are coming from. And you do this by asking yourself questions such as, why do I feel this way? Or what other people in my life think this way? Or maybe you can go along the lines of, who taught me this way of thinking, whether it's indirectly or directly, or go back through to the times that you first thought of that way of thinking, or even asking yourself, what would happen if you didn't think this way? So when you're able to understand where you are coming from, then eventually you're able to create an alternative response. So you can come up with something that you could say in your head to replace the thought process you're trying to change. So an example would be for someone like me, I'm, when the tendency to become a perfectionist is there because of the pressure that I put on myself. One way that I can come up with another, an alternative response is to say to myself that I don't have to be perfect, or it's okay to make mistakes. It's something that I would repeat to myself over and over, so that I truly, engage in it and eventually believe in it. And once you've done that, once you've created an alternative response, then you practice and be patient. Of course, changing your thought patterns isn't something that can be done overnight. This is a lifetime commitment. And it takes intentional desire to create new patterns by thinking new thoughts. So be patient with yourself. Michael Neal, he's an author, said, it's not the thoughts that pass through your head that impact your life. It's the one you take possession of and think about all day long. Once we agree to give our attention to a thought, it becomes more and more real to us over time and has more and more power over our life. Truth is, you are not what you think, but what you think you can become. The thoughts that merely cross your mind do not define you, but the ones you take captive of, the ones that you believe in your heart, you take into your heart, is eventually what you will become. And we all know that creating new thought patterns is easier said than done. If only one could immediately remove the unhealthy thought and replace it with something new, then life would be great, right? And so let me invite you. If you're someone who's saying that your unhealthy thought patterns have been getting in the way of your life, it's affecting your relationships, your work, and how you view yourself, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about how you and your life can be transformed and how you view certain mindsets in your life. You don't have to be a prisoner of your thoughts. You can overcome. It's not too late. Help is available. Let's talk. And I started this conversation with a quote from William James. I'm going to close it with another one from him. And he says, "The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another." Choose one thought over another. And I hope you'll be able to take that with you as you leave this afternoon. And to help you start in being mindful of the thoughts that come in your mind, I am giving away this digital journal. It's free. All you need to do is key in hashtag overcomer in the comments and I'll send it to you right after I end this episode. And if you have any questions, after you've gotten this, you've written some thoughts and you want help in processing it, let me know. I'm available to discuss it with you. And as I end this conversation, let me invite you to be part of what we are doing as an organization of professional certified life coaches. Do join us and be part of the Be Learning journey for living smarter with monthly perks. Last May, Master Coach A actually launched the Be Learning Society. It's the tent maker of Be Learning Home for mental fitness. And actually, Decaf Coffee Republic is hosting the Be Learning e-card that unlocks opportunities to smarter living with perks. So the first one, if you're wondering, is that you get 5% off from food and beverage. This is a 5% discount from Decaf Coffee Republic. The next thing that you get is a mental model masterclass by Master Coach A, happening every third Saturday of the month. And the third one is that you get a free 90-minute coaching session with senior coaches from Life Coach Philippines. And for this month's mental model masterclass, scheduled on July 17 at 7 p.m., Master Coach A will teach the 80-20 mental model mastery. So you can learn the mental model behind the 80-20 rule and discover how you can apply it in almost every area of your life and accelerate your success. And for those of you, for those individuals who intend to embark on a journey of becoming a certified life coach, Master Coach A now offers Coactively Co-Create Life Coach Certification Program. I'm actually a product of this one. And this is a comprehensive approach to learning and mastering life coaching as an active process for creating new path to achieving results in life so that success becomes inevitable in every coaching relationship. So this course, this program includes a 21-day web-based learning. After that, there's also a 3-day live coaching 3-day live coaching bootcamp with Master Coach A. And on top of that would be another 3-day live business bootcamp with the senior coaching team. But not only that, the program package also comes with many other bonuses. So please connect with Coach Roselle. You can contact her at 0917-586-1234 1661 to discover the opportunities waiting for you in this profession. So I hope that I'll see you in any of our activities here in Life Coach Philippines. Again, don't forget to key in hashtag Overcomer in the comments so you will get your free digital journal after this episode. And I invite you to join us again for another coaching conversation at 4 p.m. with Coach Tin for Coaching for Relationship. Once again, this is Coach Maan from Life Coach Philippines for Coaching Think Talk. Coaches like us think and talk like this. This is us from the Philippines. Love, bam, boom. Bye.